Hey everyone, this is Trevor with HustlePaintball.com, and today I have a video that I'm sure all of you have been waiting for since it was announced. This is the Tippmann crossover. We have taken it all over the place, including a scenario last weekend. We actually also took it on the speedball field this past weekend, and we literally crossed over with this thing. It's absolutely a fantastic marker. So why don't I go ahead and bring the camera in a little bit closer and show you exactly what all the features are about this marker. As of right now, the crossover only comes in this one flat black color. It doesn't come in any other colors, but to be honest, I think the black works out well for it. It's not trying to be flashy. This is the crossover. It's not a speedball marker and it's not a milsim marker. It's for those types of players that just like to play paintball, and we play all types of paintball. That's why every member of Anomaly actually loves this gun. It really switches between the two fantastically. And the reason for it is for quite a few of the features on it. Obviously it has a really nice compact feel to it. It's got the single tube spool valve design, which the crossover is in fact a spool valve. Uses the flex valve technology, some of which all of you have already been used to with the Phenom. So there are some features on the crossover that Tippmann has, kind of updated when it comes to paintball guns. There's quite a few things markers have that Tippmann markers just haven't had in, kind of in the history of time. The crossover does come with a clamping feed neck, which is actually quite awesome. You can see it right here. You do have the thumb twist, as well as on the other side you actually have this clamp. So that kind of brings everything into what any paintballer out there would really want, which is the ability to tighten down whatever hopper it is that you decide to put on the marker. It's a fantastic feature. Another thing that they have updated, which Tippmann guns are, for me at least, notorious for not having, is eyes. The crossover does have eyes. Now, these are ribbon eyes, which a lot of you out there who have used them before hate. These are done in such a way that they're really not terrible at all. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised when I discovered, upon the fact that they were ribbon eyes, when I looked at it, that they weren't going to cause me any trouble. We'll get to that when I actually pull apart the marker and show you the different parts. You can see Tippmann has started to get this real kick about having an internal gas line. You see it in the Griffin, the Phenom, and now the crossover. The gas line is internalized, it doesn't go on the outside. Now, if you're a person that doesn't like this, an awesome thing about the crossover is you can actually make the gas line external. This right here, which looks like a regulator, actually is not. It's just a handle. It doesn't really do anything. The air does actually come out of there and just go right back in. So you can actually upgrade this with your own regulator of some sort. Change out the regulator here with just a standard ASA, run your macro line from one to the other, and you have yourself a full setup for exactly what you want. They've really made the crossover tailored to whatever paintball player picks it up and plays with it. And that's what really excites me about it the most, is it's not trying to be one thing or any other thing. I mean, it is trying to be a new paintball marker in its own right, and as far as I'm concerned, it's doing fantastically. Since the A5 was released, all of Tippmann's newer markers have been coming with A5 or X7 threads. This is no different with the crossover, so if you already own one of the markers with those threads on it, your barrel is definitely going to work on it, especially if you have an upgraded one. I know a lot of us out there, we love Tippmann's, but their barrels just aren't up to scratch with other ones out there. Like the X7 Phenom and the A5 Hall Effect E-grip before it, the crossover does have a Hall Effect electronic grip, so you're not going to have a micro switch that's going to wear out. It just has the magnet that goes through the hull, and it activates the firing mechanism, and the paintball comes out. Upon this, that makes the trigger a little different for those of you that have used double triggers and walked the trigger for a while. It feels like Tippmann just doesn't have as much experience as I would like with triggers like this. I mean, if you think about it, every other gun out there that they've made comes with a single trigger. It feels actually quite nice. once you remove a specific part on the inside of it, and we discovered this ourselves, I'll show you exactly how to do it. I'm not sure why they have it there. I think it's a safety thing, but upon removing it, the trigger feels a lot better. With it there, it's a little chunky. So when we get into the marker, I'll show you that, but the Hall Effect E-Grip is awesome, and they have actually made it more sophisticated for the crossover. Like any other Tippmann, the electronics board in this marker does cap at 15 paintballs a second. That is to adhere to the ASTM regulations of anything over 15 paintballs a second is unsafe. Not all companies follow this, but Tippmann is really, really careful about their safety, and they want to make sure that everyone out there is safe, so it's capped. Along with that, there are multiple firing modes. All the same ones you've been used to in all other Tippmann electronic markers, but the crossover has been updated with modes that any crossover paintball player would love, and that is PSP, Millennium, and NPPL. You have all those modes, and there is also a tournament lock on the inside. So, I mean, it's set for both modes of play, wherever you're going, however you're playing, you're going to be set for it. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's a little feature on the crossover that has been included on the X7 Phenom since it's released, and the A5 Hall Effect. That is this Selector Switch right here. Now, a lot of you guys who spend most of your time on the speedball field are probably going to find this lame and you're not going to use it. I will say 75% of Anomaly thought the same thing until we took it out to Band of Brothers recently. What makes it really, really cool is if you have a whole case of paint for a day and that's it, you know, you spend most of your day shooting one paintball. So why not just have it on mechanical? You're going to save battery. I mean, your battery time is just going to be extended tenfold if you spend a lot of time on mechanical and only switch over to electronic whenever you need to actually shoot a rope of paint. And that's what makes it really cool, and we actually have some footage of it being shown in action, which is really badass.
Shooting great, I like it actually. It's really comfy, you know? Yeah, stick it out to the left. That's great. He's gone! He's gone! He's gone! He's gone for sure! Oh my god! Get him out of there, Rex!
Did you just go from mech to electronic?
Yeah, it's pretty cool and you can do it on the fly.
When you're just one balling, do you switch it to mech to save some battery?
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
Well, it shuts the whole entire board off, so it's, as far as battery life goes, it's really good.
Now that I've shown you pretty much all that I can on the outside features of the marker, I really want to open it up and show you the guts of it and just really how easy it is to get into, how simple it is, and pretty much how something that works this well doesn't need to be confusing for you at all or difficult to work on. So I'm just going to start by getting into the bolt assembly on the back here. It's just as easy as getting your Allen key in there and unscrewing it. And here you have the flex valve, your return spring, and your bolt. It's absolutely that easy to get into, especially if you have a chop or anything of that nature. You can just pull the whole thing out and you have your bolt right there. It's about as easy as getting into as any other marker out there. I think the only one out there that I could say is probably easier to get into is something like an Ego, and that's not to get into the actual assembly here, that's just to get to the bolt. So it's just an unbelievable improvement for Tippmann to make something like this where I don't need to pull out any pins or to pull apart any halves. I mean, I just unscrew this back and the whole thing comes out. It's awesome. Now that I have shown you how easy it is to remove the flex valve assembly from the marker right out the back, I want to show you just how easy it is to actually separate the grip from the body itself. It's super intuitive, and I really like what Tippmann has done with their design. There's actually 2 bolts right here that you can remove, one there and one there. Now if you remove those, it's actually not going to come right off. This is almost a security feature. I like it. If they loosen up, it's not going to separate on the field. What you actually have to do is you have to remove these 2 screws first. And you can see there's actually an extra spot for the selector switch to go down to. After you've done this, you just flip that down and you can pull it right out. It has to be jiggled a little bit sometimes. There we go. Got it removed. And then if you remove those 2 bolts, it's going to separate really easily. So I'm just going to do that right now. Now that I have removed those bolts from here and here, it's just as easy as actually separating the 2 parts. It's not difficult at all, comes off really easily and goes back on really easily. From here you can see your trigger mechanism and getting to your eyes as well. If you want to get to the eyes themselves rather than the whole thing, there is the ability right there on the outside of the body to get to them. The detents that the crossover uses are the same detents that have been used in every Tippmann marker. It just uses 2, 1 on each side. I've heard some funny comments about that, and to be honest with you, my only answer is, well, has that detent ever really failed on you? Now you have 2, so they're just great. I mean, it's a great design as far as I'm concerned. I did briefly mention earlier that we did a specific modification to the trigger to make it feel a little bit better for us. There is normally a spring sitting right in there that causes the trigger to be a little stronger, it's a little snappier, and it really, as far as I'm concerned, it just kind of messes up walking the trigger. This is not recommended by Tippmann. This is something that I'm not sure they even knew about, but we went ahead and did it immediately because we just didn't like the feel of the trigger outside of the box. Upon doing this, it works really quite well. So if it's something that you want to do or you have an issue with the trigger, just removing that will kind of make the whole package a lot better for you. Honestly, those are all the features that I really have the ability to go over. The manual is going to be able to go more in depth on how to change your modes and how to cater your e-grip to what you really want, and all the different little pieces on the inside of the marker and where they go and what they do. I just want to give you a quick introduction to how easy it is to pull out the flex valve assembly and to remove the grip from the body. With that said, why don't we bring the camera out and I'll just give my final resolution on how I feel about the crossover. One thing I nearly forgot to mention because I was so excited about talking about this marker is this comes from Tippmann themselves. It works with CO2. It won't break like other markers. It won't ruin them like other markers, but it should be used only as a last resort. High pressure air, always high pressure air unless you possibly can't. It will work, not well at all, and it's just going to cause you more trouble than anything else. So don't use CO2 in it. Only go high pressure air unless you absolutely need to. Some fun little facts about the crossover coming directly from Tippmann, especially since there were so many comments about us not really being professional enough in our efficiency test. We only got 1,300 shots from a 68-45. Tippmann actually got 1,400 out of a 68-45, filled up to 45, shooting at 280 feet per second. This comes directly from them, so you know that it's completely honest information, and that is what the crossover gets in terms of efficiency. On top of that, if you ran the e-grip all the time and not just flipping in between mechanical and automatic, you get 16,000 shots out of the crossover before it ran out of batteries. So it has some great stats on efficiency and battery life, and it's going to be able to keep up with the big dogs out there. Now, as far as my personal opinion goes, I have played with the crossover. I have spent quite a bit of time with it. All you guys who've been watching for a while know that I personally use a Planet Eclipse SL74, and I also use a CCM S6.5. This marker has really astounded me and impresses me quite a bit. There's a lot of guys out there that just seem to be very skeptical about it, and I'll honestly say right now there's no need to be. It's fantastic. It's just as durable as any Tippmann that you would get out there, and it does come with the bulletproof 2-year warranty as well. With all the praise that I'm giving this marker, it really wouldn't be fair to not provide any evidence with it, and that's why we have a bunch of footage, both from Band of Brothers and this past weekend's 3-man tournament that Anomaly was in, where we also used the crossover, and did awesomely with it. So, without any further ado, why don't you just watch some footage?
Back right! Someone to the center! One down, one down!
Yeah, he's kicking out of the left. That's it.
One down! Make him walk!
Which one where?
On this corner, this corner!
Got him in the hopper.
Top of the hopper, top of the hopper!
I'll use the window, guys.
You don't really have much. Hey, do me a favor. Do some looking down this channel.
There's
Tell
one
me
guy,
who's in the
just getting
trench.
ready. Ready to shoot someone right there.
They're not getting that piece of plutonium. Knowing our luck, it's the right one. You're done, you're done, you're done, you're done. Oh, right side tail ball, right side tail ball.
Keep going, Ethan. Don't even stop.
D-side moved up.
Keep going. Go all the way.
Okay, back right, right side, temple. We have more bodies inside than they do. Keep batting up, let's go. No blood firing, no blood firing.
Ended with like 2-ish. That's incredible. It's like it was
You
shooting.
shot
The balls are black.
3,000
No, I started with 3,200 psi.
Oh yeah, no, the
So a
efficiency
ball
is
was
off.
what, like 1,500?
Yeah, but it was about 3/4. And I put
So maybe 1,000 on.
yeah.
We filled it.
Okay,
We filled it up to
1100.
6845, and we shot 1,350 rounds out of it. And that was a legit 45 fill. We had like the big ass tech digital gauge.
Yeah.
And just like I'm like my arm's getting tired.
And I shot it most of the day yesterday.
Yeah, 1350.
Dude,
It's
mechanical
awesome.
mode is fantastic. I would shoot mechanical all the time, and then when you start getting overrun, just switch it to E and rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's
switch it to zombie
seriously,
mode.
I've shot plenty of auto mags. It's an auto mag, but made in 2012. It's
It's pretty
fantastic.
And it's just bolt out back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you take an Allen wrench, whoink, everything's out.
Squeeze you through.
So easy.
Yeah,
Man.
it's a 3-part. You got a
2D
spring, a
tens.
bolt, and the tube, and that's it.
Yeah, we're pretty
It really
stoked
is.
about
It really
You, I
is.
don't have this kind of money, but when I do.
It really is great. For like one marker all around, because
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff that's like it. If one marker, that would be it.
Yeah,
It's really
Hence
awesome.
the crossover.
It's Yes, crossover.
Crossover.
And that is the Tippmann crossover, the newest marker from Tippmann that really, really impresses us. So you guys should definitely check it out. If you got any questions or comments, go ahead and send us an email at videos@hustlepaintball.com, or you can log on to pbriot.com and see what the community has to say. Always be sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, read our blog, and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel because we got more and more videos on the way. We just love the support, you guys, and we're going to keep pumping out as many videos as we possibly can. Thank you so much for watching.